Life of a person with albinism, on the average, has been a kind of difficulty in the sense that if you don't have support and love right from home, you are not likely to be able to push through, in the sense that albinism comes with challenges that has to do with your eyes and your skin, so if they don't really understand the condition and guide you as to what to do, you'll not even be able to go through school. And you get to school, you are not able to read from the board. And a lot of teachers are not sensitive to, the needs of person with albinism. A lot of them, I don't know whether it is ignorance or not. And then to add, person with albinism, we need textbooks in accessible format. When I say that, in larger fonts. And there are no tailored books like that. Our textbooks are not tailored. We don't have the larger font with examination. It's the same like everybody else, So if we don't have the support right from home and support of the community or the environment where you find yourself, you are easily to drop out. And when you drop out, it makes your situation worse. Our skins are susceptible to sunburn, so you have to be very selective when it comes to choosing a career. So there are challenges.
As indicated by Mrs. Yakohamido, the sunlight poses great threat to the lives of persons with albinism. The lack of melanin in their system increases the risk of developing skin cancer.
In albinism, the skin has the inability to protect itself from the sunlight because it's not producing melanin. So you develop a small papule or plaque, so you develop a lesion, which will not be painful or nothing. It's just there and it was not supposed to be there. And this will now grow. Most of the people will see it as a sore and they think maybe I hurt myself and it will heal, but it's like a never healing sore. It doesn't affect the patient in a sense of something bad is happening to him. When he feels symptoms, that means the cancer has grown so much, and we are talking years, that it has been able to invade other body parts. And then if it affects your bones or your organs, then you will have symptoms. But before it gets there, you don't really have symptoms, and that's why people often come late, because they don't see it as a big thing. It invades blood vessels or the bones. It can go to other organs, and then it will be more difficult to treat. It just needs to spread to an organ and will kill you then.
It started gradually in the form of rashes, and it will tend to sore, and then it will start spreading. It's really itchy, especially when I'm on bed or when I'm sleeping. During the night, that's where I feel the itching so much, and it's also painful.
But how much does the public know about the challenges that come with living with albinism?
I don't really know about them.
So it means you don't have any idea what causes their condition?
No.
No. I don't have any idea about them.
Anyway, I know just a little about them, that their color is multicolored, and when the sun is hot, when it is the afternoon, they don't see clearly. That's what I know.
Do you have any idea what causes their condition?
Please, no.
I think it will be a genetic problem.
Most of the time it's genetic issue, and these days we have medicines that if the pregnant woman is an albino, they have some medicine that can be used so that when the pregnant woman gives birth, the child can be a normal person, not albino. That's what I know.
No, I don't know.
Oh, a whole lot. They don't go to private on Fridays, they don't die, they vanish like a whole lot.
Oh, I'm gonna say, Ufinu, yeah, a bimuira.
They are used for cleansing our gods, our small gods, and those things.
That they say they don't die and normally vanish. That's what people normally say about them. I can say what people are saying about them is true.
And I've been hearing that when one is suffering from, when any other person, not an albino, is suffering from HIV/AIDS, when one has sex with them, I think they are being cured. Yeah, being cured.
My mom told me like there's a shrine in our village in Central Region that maybe when you want the fruit of the womb and you go there, the fetish priest over there give you such baby with that complexion, that's like albino type.
Hey, no, they can buy from us. I won't buy from them. I'm afraid.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't affect what she's selling.
No, you can buy for them. And then even I can even eat with them.
Honestly, if it's something, let's say food, you buy and you're eating directly, I will have a bit of difficulty. But if it's like maybe Pepsodent, I buy its package, so I think it's normal to eat. I wouldn't buy a raw food from albino.
They are human beings, really. But I don't think maybe I'll get married to albino. But they are human beings, son. You understand? Yes, they are human beings,
Oh no, I don't think so.
So why?
My friends will tease me and then maybe I might give birth to albinos and then it will continue in my family. Who knows?
No.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Why would you do?
The stigma about them is too much, and you see, when you walk with them, around with them, all eyes are on you. In other parts of the world, they are matured, and so they don't care much about these things. But Africa, even if you have the zeal, the strength, even to cope with them, the family pressure and other pressure from outside, the stigma and this, and it will be effective.
Albino. Why not?
Are you sure you're being honest?
Of course, I'm being honest. If only there is no any spiritual lesson attached to it, why not?
Over the years, civil society organizations and disability groups have been making efforts to educate the public about disability issues. Yet, such huge ignorance and misinformation about albinism still exist in Ghana. Consequently, persons with albinism in Ghana continue to suffer many negative treatments, including customary or cultural banishment.
I went to a friend to escort me to look for a room at North Carnation. Myself and my friend with the agent. When we entered the house, the owner of the house was a lady. She asked the agent, she spoke in Ghana, asking him, is it the person with albinism who is looking for the room or the friend? So the agent quickly said, no, it's the friend, it's not the person. He said, okay, I thought it's the person with albinism because we don't tolerate them in our house. Something that I'm coming to pay for it. You say you don't tolerate persons with albinism in your house. Our discrimination is a whole lot at every stage: education, social life, even in business. Sometimes if you are selling something, people don't want to buy things from it just because of your color.
There are still situations where persons with albinism are denied employment opportunities. There are a lot more who have struggled and gone through school, and they need to be given that opportunity. And when you come to even the informal sector, how is it possible that you find a person with albinism selling bread and you are asked, were you the one who made it? So then again, all of that discrimination and stigma is also affecting
those in the informal sector. Somebody is learning hairdressing and clients come to the salon and will not want you to be the one to touch their hair.
In the Abasi, for instance, then sometime I entered the community and I was told that persons with albinism were not allowed to live in such communities.
I was part of a team that went to Akomufie to have a dialogue with the traditional authority, and they did not allow us to even get off the bus, and persons with albinism are not allowed to enter the chief palace.
To us, it's about the infringement of the fundamental human right that is enshrined in Article 26 of the Constitution.
Look at all these challenges we are going through. You don't even talk of marriage and other things. We face a lot of challenges.
These negative attitudes and cultural practices are making life extra difficult for persons with albinism.
Yes, it's affecting them because they will not be able to live their life to its fullest. You can just imagine the best you can do is to leave that community.
The Ghana Association of Persons with Albinism and albinism advocacy organizations are disappointed that the many years of albinism rights advocacy in the country has not changed much in the attitude of successive governments and the general public towards persons with albinism.
If I look at the efforts that have gone in terms of resources, both financial and human resources that have gone in, and the results, it feels like we've just taken baby steps, because the extent of stigma and discrimination honestly does not reflect the efforts that have gone in.
First of all, let me say I'm very dissatisfied about how the state, that is the government of Ghana, has treated the issue that concerns persons with albinism, that is issues of health, education, employment, and social life in general. Let me say that as at now, government of Ghana do not have any policy on albinism, and therefore they do not consider any decision that concerns their peculiar needs. For example, there is no policy on producing large print for persons with albinism in the educational system. There is no policy to treat persons with albinism who are suffering from skin cancer for free or at a subsidized cost. Still, skin cancer is very costly and it's not on the NHIS. And then the other issue is persons with albinism need sunscreens on daily basis, and sunscreen on the NHIS is considered as a cosmetic product, and therefore you need to purchase that by yourself.
For me, I always say that sun lotions are even important to we as persons with albinism than malaria tablets. That is our need on a daily basis. You need it. So why would you not want to put that on the drug list? And it's so costly. Even those who are working, it's difficult to pay out of pocket. How much more those than the many of us who are not employed? And when the unfortunate happens, a lot are suffering from skin cancer. The treatment you have to pay out of pocket, and we are losing a lot of persons with the statistics are there to cancer than even to the attacks.
Stigma and discrimination are a result of lack of information in the system. So the only way to fight stigma, discrimination, and any other negative attitude towards persons with albinism is through public education, consistent and massive public education. And this is the responsibility of NCCE. So NCCE has the responsibility to ensure that the public is educated on what albinism is, what challenges they face, what contribution they can make to the society. So that at the end, the public can understand this condition and embrace those with the condition. And then this will lead to the resultant effect of people not discriminating or people not stigmatizing the condition. And public education, I know it's not only done by NCCE, but any other person can also do public education on albinism through schools, through churches, through the media. And Engaging on Africa has championed this for the past 7 years, going into communities, going into schools to educate the public on what albinism is. And we need the voice of the government through the NCCE to support the agenda of Engaging on Africa to ensure that persons with albinism are accepted in the society and they are free from discrimination, they are free from stigma.
We need to bring on board impact assessment. Over the years, I think it has been more of touch and go, and we expect some change, but that has not really worked. And so I think we need to bring on board impact assessment and be very deliberate. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities actually stipulates that state parties should deploy measures deliberately, effective and appropriate measures in raising awareness. And so I think if we bring on board those assessment tools, we will be seeing better results.
Education is a key to success, and therefore each and every citizen of Ghana need to be educated. We have free education, but that is not enough for persons with albinism. If you provide the free education and you don't provide the gadget and the things that they need, the learning, the teaching and learning materials that persons with albinism need to excel in the classroom, then the free education is like 0% for persons with albinism. So the GES, the Ghana Education Service, need to know that there are a variety of students who sit in a particular class. This includes persons with albinism who have different learning needs. For example, persons with albinism need to sit close to the board or close to wherever the teacher is teaching for them to be able to see what the teacher is writing on the board. Secondly, the textbooks, the learning materials that are provided by GS are printed in font sizes that are very small for persons with albinism to be able to read. So the solution here is for them to at least make provision for large prints that will make it easy for persons with albinism to read. That is one. Secondly, to make available assistive devices for persons with albinism that include lenses or binoculars or monoculars that can help them to see from the board. These are very, very important gadgets or assistive devices for persons with albinism to be used so that they can be able to excel in class. The other part I would like to talk about is the WAEC. I've spoken about the books being printed in large fonts. We all sit in the same exam hall, and exam determines your progression to the next level of education. And this is very crucial to the education system in Ghana. If you don't pass your exam, you are not moving forward. Aside putting the questions or papers in the large font, they need to at least give in some extra time, because our visions do not allow us to work at the speed that any other person will work at. So we need to give in some extra time to be able to complete whatever assignment we are given. So we are pleading with Ghana Education Service and then the West Africa Examination Council to consider this solution to the educational needs of persons with albinism by producing textbooks in large fonts, providing assistive devices for persons with albinism, and also printing the question papers in large font sizes so that persons with albinism can be able to excel in education.
It is obvious that a lot more commitment is required of the government if it wants to be seen as a government that values the life of every citizen and is leaving no one behind.